Hello, thank you for tuning in to LAF Space Film Fest. That is capital LAF Space Film Fest. So thank you for dropping by. I wanted to talk to you today about the difference between doing a project at your house, a construction project, and whether or not you want to do it by having the contractor give you an estimate or have the contractor do what they call time and material. One question that comes up quite a bit, do I want a contractor to come over to my house and give me an estimate on what it's going to take to do the project I want to do? Or would it be better to pay the contractor by the hour, come up with a fair wage by the hour, do the work, he charges you as long as he's there. You either work it out with the material on whether the customer actually pays for the material or the contractor will pay for the material. Now, one thing about the contractor paying for the material is if he pays for the material, he's going to put a percent on top of it. And sometimes it can be high as 20, 30%. You want to think about that when you're doing your project. So I have a small painting business. Customers call me and I'll meet the customer, talk to them about it, and we'll walk through, take a look at the rooms. My suggestion to them is I can give them an estimate if they would like an estimate. Something in writing saying, I think it's going to cost this amount. 99% of my jobs I'll do on what they call a time and material basis. So I come to the job in the morning and I start working. I get my work done. I work hard, don't slack off. However long I'm there is what the customer will end up paying me for. We come up with a fair wage, and in my case here in Southern Indiana, it's $30 an hour. If I come in and I work 8 hours, then obviously it's 8 times $30 an hour would be my wage for that day. Now, time material would never work unless you find somebody trustworthy. You don't want to come in and you don't want to hire somebody, then find out that you went to work and 2 or 3 hours during the day they sat around and watched TV or played with their phone. So it's got to be somebody that's trustworthy that you know is going to do a really good job. Because here's the thing about a contractor giving an estimate. What a lot of people don't understand is that an estimate is a price that they pretty well have figured how long it's going to take, what material they're going to use, and then they always put a cushion at the end of it. Because they're going to pay their people to come in and they're going to pay them a wage, go pick up the material, and they're going to charge you on top of that. So if a gallon of paint would be $40, they're going to probably charge you $55, $60 for that gallon of paint. And then when the job is all finished, they need money for themselves. So an estimate is often cushioned quite a bit. Where if you do time material and you have found that person that you can trust to come into your home to work all day, and you know they're not only going to do a great job, but they're going to put in the labor that you expect. It works better because everybody comes out even. The contractor gets paid his wage, what he expects to get paid. You're not paying a cushion at the end of it. If it's a $5,000 job, at the end of the $5,000, labor is going to pay $6,000 because the owner wants that extra $1,000 bonus at the end for doing the job. A worst case scenario than you paying that extra cushion at the end of the job is for some reason that contractor come in and underestimated that job. Now, a lot of people might think, oh, that's great. I'm going to get a good deal now. Not necessarily. The moment that contractor realized that he underestimated that job and it's going to take him longer, the faster he's going to try to cut corners and get that job done, because there's no way he's going to want to lose money on the job. So that's not a good scenario at all to have a contractor come in and underestimate a job, because now the job is going to be rushed and the quality just isn't going to be there. Who wants to come in and expect to get $30 an hour for their professional work and it ends up being $15 an hour because they way underestimated 2 or 3 walls or didn't think about the prep or a situation like that. The thing I like about time material, and like I said, about 99% of the jobs that I do will be time material, is time material allows me to come in and do the best job that I can do. It's not just spreading paint, and it's not just putting primer on the walls, it's the prep work. It's making sure the walls are nice and smooth, making sure you put enough caulking down, making sure that you add 2 quality coats and 3 if it's needed. So it's important to be able to have that time to make sure the job is done right without worrying about, okay, did I estimate it? Do I have enough time in here? Should I hurry up and try to get going because it looks like it's going to take longer than I thought? Another strange phenomenon in the estimating business is whenever a contractor gets an okay and a signature on an estimate, it's almost assured the first thing that starts running through his mind is, okay, I have X amount of dollars figured that I'm going to make on this job. How can I make more? What corners can I cut? How fast can I go? Are there different materials that I could use to actually make a little bit more money? I think it's just kind of human nature, especially if you're in the business to make money doing things. You're going to try to make as much as you can and still hopefully have a good quality job. So personally, what I will do, come in and I'll charge by the hour. I usually have my clients pay for the paint, and I'll either go pick it up or they can go in and pick it up. We talk about it. They know exactly what to pick up, and that way they know they're paying for exactly what I would be paying for the paint. There's not a markup on it. I look at that as a kind of a bonus to the customers because they know exactly how much paint is being used, how much material is being used, and what the cost was on it. Now, here in Southern Indiana, this is a small community. You can find good people out there that you can trust and you can do a time material job with. Once again, that's the way I like to do it, and that's what I think works the very best. Maybe in the big cities, I don't know. There's probably a lot of people out hustling, a lot of people, it might be hard to find somebody that you can really trust, that you even know. You might have to go with an estimate. And also an estimate kind of lets you know how much money you can budget, whether or not you can do the job. Now, here's something else about an estimate. When you call a company up, you're going to see somebody pull up, usually in a truck, nice SUV. A lot of times it's the owner. He's going to come in, he's going to be dressed well, he's going to look at the job, and he's going to give you a price on the job. What you want to be able to do is you want to be sure to ask him, okay, who is going to do the work? Because I can tell you, in my community here, there's a couple painting companies that have really grown in size. But the problem is the owner drives a really nice truck, and he pulls up and he looks good, he talks good, and he can sell the jobs. But then when it's time for the job to start, you open up your door and there's seems to be less than credible people that are standing there wanting to come in your house to get the job done. I don't like that. I'd rather talk to the owner. I'd rather make sure he's going to be on the job and he's the one that's actually going to do the work. So you can see there's a lot to it. Do I get an estimate or do I do time material? If you can find somebody you trust, do the time material. That way you'll know exactly how much paint and how much material went into the job. You'll know that the person's there doing the very best job he can, and at the end of the job, you write him a check for his labor, which is fair, and he's not charging you a big cushion at the end. He decides he wants a bonus because he did this job. That's the way I think it should. Another thing in being in the painting business that I like, a wall being painted is not the same to everyone. As a contractor, I'm almost protecting myself a little bit too, because I can go in and I can do a really good job and prep the walls in a bedroom, let's say. Put 2 coats of paint on it and it looks really nice. But every once in a while you're going to run into that client that is really, really particular and maybe picky, too picky. In that case, if they come in and they don't like the quality and they want to make sure that it's to their specifications, that's okay. Because with time material, that's fine. I can sand these walls a little bit more. I can put another coat of paint on it, and it's going to cost you, a few more hours of labor to do. So that way, you're not stuck in a situation where this person, your client, is wanting you to do more and more and more, yet you only have so much money figured in an estimate, and then it becomes a struggle. One of the biggest advantages doing a job by time material rather than an estimate, and this is an advantage for the client, that is when you sign that estimate, you sign for the whole job. So no matter who shows up on the day it's time to work, you kind of agree to that. No matter what kind of quality of work they do, unless it's really, really bad, you're going to kind of have to accept that. You signed a contract. Here's the contract. You said you would pay $5,000 to have these bedrooms done, and this is the work that you're going to get. Or if you work time material, let's say the salesman has come out, sold you on the job, it's time to start the job. Here comes a couple people showing up your door. You let them in, they start working, and you just don't like the quality of work. Maybe you just get a weird feeling about the people themselves that have walked into your home. At any point, you can say, guys, hey, I tell you what, this ain't working out. I appreciate it. Here's your labor for the day. I owe you for 4 hours apiece. Thank you very much. So you're not tied into a contract with them. That's an advantage as a client to have. So to wrap it up, talk to your friends. See if you can find someone, a contractor, that everybody says, oh, this guy's great. You can trust him in your house. He's just wonderful. See if you can't locate somebody like that and talk to them about a fair wage. Once again, Southern Indiana, we're at $30 an hour. It's my understanding in Boston, they make $75 an hour as a painter. Work that out. See if you can get them to agree that you'll go pick out the paint. That way you know exactly what kind of paint you're using and how much the materials are going to run. Make sure when it's time to start the job that person is actually going to be the one that's actually going to apply the paint on the wall. And if you decide to go with the estimate, just talk to the person that shows up. Find out who they are, find out if they're the owner, find out if they're actually going to be applying the paint on the walls, or are they just there selling and then they've got a crew that's going to show up. And you might even want to put a clause in that estimate saying at a point you decide you don't like the quality of work or you don't like the workers that have showed up, that you can cancel that contract, just pay a fair wage, then you can get somebody else in there. So I do appreciate you dropping into the channel. That's capital LAF space Film Fest. I hope this little bit of knowledge can go a long ways. I hope this will help you on your next project. I hope your next project turns out great. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for dropping in.